Hello, this is Malorian, and even though I'm sick, this is going to be a team battle with Orcs versus Empire and Ogre Kingdoms with 2,000 points per player. So this mainly started as a game against a buddy of mine. I haven't played against him in a long time, and he wanted to try out 8th for the first time. I guess he's played with his sons before, but nothing outside of that. Anyway, so what it's going to be is me and one of his sons versus him and his other son, and then after I'm going to be taking him on in our own bigger game. But for this one here is Blood and Glory, and let me go over this terrain first. First of all, in the center of our line, we got two buildings, and that's a Dwarven Brew House. In the middle, that's that sinister statue. We have a fence and a ghost fence on the upper left side. That's the idol of Gork that's right in front of my lines. And on the top right, that is the one where stubborn within 6, and then you get +1 a hit if you're defending it. Can't remember the name right now. And then a mysterious forest. And what we have from left to right is I have 2 wolf chariots, then I have 2 units of 100 night goblins with spears. I'm going to try this out. I think it's going to be really good, but we'll see. And each of those have 3 bosses with a great weapon. He has something like 14 RR boys in the first building. Then I have my 40 black orcs in the next building. And in there I'm trying out a Black Orc War Boss with a Battle Axe Lassois. Just trying it out. And then I also have a BSB in there in my level 2. Unfortunately, the way that this deployed, I kind of really screwed myself over. I'd planned to put everything here on the left side, being, of course, Night Goblins and Black Orcs and Night Golems. But I placed that kind of the right Night Goblins first, then realized that in this mission, you can't deploy anything on the left 9 inches, and so I didn't have room. So I figured it won't be that big of a deal. Within no time, I'll be within leadership range anyway, but a little bit of risk there. Then there's 2 Chukkas, one at the bottom of the building, one at the top. He has a big unit of Night Goblins that have gone wide because they'll be stubborn anyway. He has a level 4 that's on a boar, a bunch of Black Orcs there, and then he has a board chariot. And on the right, he has some spiders, I think 10 of them, and then a big unit of big guns, regular orcs with 2 choppas, and he has his Black Orc War Boss in there with +3 attacks. Alright, the Empire Army. He has a big unit of like 30 great swords with a detachment of some archers. He has some pistoliers over there, a cannon. In the back, he has a hellblaster and a mortar, and there's an engineer there to support them. In the front, he has a huge horde of 40 or 50 swordsmen with a detachment of spearmen on the left and swordsmen on the right. He has his war altar that's back there, and as well you can see there's that Rhinox scrap launcher. Then there's 5 knights, 2 Rhinox riders, and a big horde of nobblers, a bunch of iron guts, 8 of them I think, and or 6, something like that, and also the tyrant. He has 2 lead belchers behind the building. And then on the right, there are some Yetis and another unit of, I think, 5 Ogres with the Butcher. Really here, we're not doing a lot of tactical talking between us. Really, it's going to be I take my side, he takes his side, and then we'll see what happens. But because it's Blood and Glory, it could be over quick, but then again, there's double the generals to be boosting up those numbers. So we'll see what happens. Either way, it's really a learning game for them, and for me, I'm just testing out these big blocks and that super weapon. Alright, so they win first turn, and I get a beating. Pretty much all their mortars and the scrap launcher and stuff target my Night Goblins. They're forced to take a leadership test, and I fail. Luckily, I'm not off the board yet, but I'll just tell you right now, I'm going off the board my turn. I didn't rally. So they caught me. I was out of leadership range, and there they go. So that's a huge blow. And then plus, both my chariots are gone because I stupidly set them up so that he could kill both of them at once with his cannon. So, yeah, I kind of really just gave them a big advantage right in the beginning here, but we'll see if I can come back. Otherwise, you can see some of his stuff is moving up, and they didn't really get anything done with magic. So, greenskins turn 1. My Black Orcs come out, and so now I'm there, and I'm really starting to think maybe it was not too bad that that happened, because instead of him shooting my Black Orcs, he destroyed a bunch of Night Goblins. So, I don't know. The main thing is I have to just get in there and kill as fast as I can, because obviously their shooting can do a lot of damage to us. On the right, the Night Goblins move up, release some fanatics into their lines, and did a couple of wounds to those ogres. A chariot and the spiders charged the yetis, killed one, and we actually lost, but at least the boar chariot was stubborn from the one building. He was just within 6, and then the general kept the spiders in, so it's something. And in the magic phase, uh, didn't really get much done. We tried casting the big-footed gork, but it scattered. So there you have it. So their turn 2, they decide to really go for it. He's hitting my black orcs with both the knights that had 1 die from a spell, and the big horde of the swordsman, which has his BSB in there. So this could be critical for both sides, depending which way the fight goes. And after it looks like this. So, he does some shooting at my night goblins, kills a few, but in that combat, I, of course, decimated the swordsman, brought them just enough so that he lost his steadfast, and then they broke, so now that banner's gone, and the BSB is gone, and then the knights broke as well. So that was great, and on the right there, the ogres charged into the night goblins, killed tons of them, but they still are there, and then as well, his other ogres are just kind of like moving around the right flank there, so... and you can also see at the very bottom we have a couple of gorgers to deal with, but in this mission they're not that big of a deal. So our turn 2, we try and go for the big foot again, and we thought we had a perfect thing here for this unit, but it scattered off 6 inches. So this thing's super deadly, but if it scatters, if you're just going for the single models, it doesn't really work out all that well. And so after it looks like this, so my night goblins. Charged up, and they're fighting with the great swords, and of course, I'm loving my big boss's great weapons. I was hacking them down, so I'm doing well over there. And my black orcs first charge the swordsmen, and keep them running, and then passed my leadership to charge the handgunners instead, and they fled. So that's good. This whole line's just opened right up. We brought up back some stuff to deal with the gorgers. Sorry, I forgot to say we have a giant back there too. But wasn't able to kill any of them, and then in combat he totally wiped out the night goblins. The fight's still going on between the yetis and all that stuff, but yeah, it's just going at this point. So Empire and Ogres turn 3. The Arch Lector charges in here along with this other scrap launcher, and this could be huge because if I can kill him with my super weapon with my war boss, well, then all of a sudden they don't have a lot of points because I've already taken away a lot of their banners. I'm about to destroy the greatsword, so this could be pretty key. All right, and so after their turn, it looks like this. So I, his swordsmen and stuff rally. My spearmen beat up the greatswords. They actually failed their stubborn test, and then but they got away. But that banner's gone now. In the big combat, my great weapons totally destroyed the whatchamacallit, the scrap launcher, and then the general combat was really scary. So he didn't have the mirror, he doesn't he thinks it's kind of cheesy, so he didn't take it. And instead, he has that one weapon where you get basically one hit, but it's strength 10, it does d6 wounds. So we could easily have an instant kill on both sides, but he failed to hit. Even with the reroll, and I got the full 6, so I had 10 strength 10 attacks, and I did 1 wound. So things are still going on there. His Iron Guts with the Tyrants charged the Black Orcs that were there, totally wiped them out, but just barely didn't go far enough to get the level 4 there. With that combat, the Rhinox Riders hit the rear of the Giants, and then the Gorgers just take out both of the Spear Chuckas. He has some lead belchers that flanked the chariot, but luckily he rolled like crap, and we held there. So he also charged his right ogres into the big guns, and yeah, the big guns just messed them up. So again, that's another banner we could easily knock off them pretty quick. So I also kind of looked here because the ogres, or the orcs on his side, my allies are almost wiped out. So I thought, wait a second, what if he dies? Am I screwed? But luckily at this point, I still have 5 points just with my stuff. So as long as I do what I need to do, then we're going to be okay. So my turn 3, or our turn 3, my Night Goblins just try and get rid of those great swords, charge them, but I didn't manage to catch them, so that was kind of useless. And then in the combat, again, this time I had the +5 to my attacks and strength, but I did nothing to him, and he failed to hit me as well. So yeah, and the bad thing is looking is that now he's really set up to have all these units kind of countercharge. So I gotta kill this guy fast. I mean, it should have happened already, but I just can't get it done. So Empire turn 4, he goes for the supercharge, but the first of all, the swordsman at the top wasn't able to make it, and then the knights, that sinister statue shot them, killed one, and then they failed their panic. So much for that. And then in the end, it didn't matter anyway because the Archlector missed his attack again, and then with all my attacks again, I had the +5. I killed him. So that was it. They were down to just the tyrant and one banner, I think the Ogres had, and that was it. So victory to the Orcs. So like I said, victory to the Orcs and Goblins. Had a little bit of scary moments there, but for some of the things I was trying to test, the 100 Night Goblins, even though I was stupid with the one unit, I still love it. I think it performed very well. You know, with the losses that second unit took from the mortars, if that had just been a single unit, say 2 units of 50 and one got hit like that, they'd be almost useless. But because of this, I had a very still full functioning unit that in those horde attacks. I mean, it was so great to have those against those greatswords, just stabby, and just knock them all down. As far as the Battle Axe La Soie, I had put it on a Black Orc character for this very reason, actually, so that if I was the -3 weapon skill, that I at least would still be weapon skill 4. And so I'm hitting usual guys on 3s, and I won't need 5s to hit, our lower level character with weapon skill 7. But it's just super deadly. He did a lot of damage. He could have done a lot more, of course, if he was up against a regular unit. But I think it's a pretty cool weapon. But only in big games. I think in the smaller games, save your points because it's just kind of over the top. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll have my one-on-one against the Empire player right away here.